Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are here for my first top 10 video. Seen a lot of people do these, and I figured I'd jump on the bandwagon. So I chose top 10 giant monster movies, or kaiju, if you will, as my first top 10 video. This is going to be extremely difficult. My top 10 list could really be a top 50, but I don't think it would hold your interest for that long. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be in two series. You have the top 10, and then you have honorable mention, because there's so many good or bad, depending on your point of view, kaiju films. Most of these will be Japanese monsters, to be fair. No surprise. You may agree with my choices, you may not. That's why I'm doing this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the honorable mentions. And what are the honorable mentions? Simple. The ones that didn't make the top 10. Now, I'm just going to show you the picture of the film, and I'll give you the title. I'm not going to, discuss what the films are about. Give you a 3-second synopsis of what I think of each film. My first honorable mention is Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Toho, the Showa era. In my opinion, this is when it started going downhill. Godzilla became a comedian instead of a scary monster. However, Ghidorah is fantastic. So that's Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, on the outside looking in. Next, Kong, Skull Island. Great film, great effects. Kong never looked better. Just couldn't put this in my top 10. It might be 11 or 12. It's a great film, great cast. The special effects are fantastic. And as we'll later see, this version of Kong makes an appearance again. So Kong, Skull Island, on the outside looking in. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. One of my favorites. Fans have a problem with this film, thinking that it's kind of went cheap. Did it? Yeah, they put it on an island, but that's what Toho was doing with these later versions. Budgets were getting too big, so what do? Instead of destroying cities, they destroy an island, which probably costs half the amount of money. Ebra, great-looking monster. Originally, the script was written for King Kong, but the suit was in such bad shape they couldn't use it, so they substituted Godzilla. That's why Godzilla acts a little weird in this film, falling in love with a girl, blah, blah, blah. Good film, very enjoyable. On the outside looking in. Godzilla versus Destroyer. One of the best of the Heisei era films. The Return of the Oxygen Destroyer. Great film. This version of Godzilla is probably more well known than the original version of Godzilla from the Showa era. When people think about Godzilla, they think about this guy right here. Godzilla versus Destroyer. If you haven't seen it, pick this up. It's a great film. This is a 2-pack with Space Godzilla, which to me is crap. I don't even pay attention to it, but Godzilla versus Destroyer. Little side note here, returning to the screen is Emiko in this film. Highly recommend Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Unfortunately, on the outside looking in. Gorgo. Great, great, great film. It just couldn't break through. There were some things in my top 10 that I just could not leave out. Gorgo is a great film. The British film. A baby is captured. The mother comes. She's pissed off. She destroys London. Thankfully, it's been put onto Blu-ray. A lot of regular DVD prints are out there, and they look like crap. The Blu-ray looks much better. I'd love to see this 4K, but I don't think it'll ever happen. Gorgo. Great film. On the outside looking in. Terror of Mechagodzilla. Yeah, the last of the Showa series and the worst performing film at the box office for the Showa series. This features the return of Mechagodzilla and the arrival of Titanosaurus. Not a good film. They tried to adult it a little bit more. They got rid of the little kids that they had in Smog Monster and Megalon. The one that came before this, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, is much better. Terror of Mechagodzilla, on the outside looking in. Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Ray Harryhausen in all his glory. The Rhedosaurus. Great film. Once again, I couldn't kick something else out of my top 10 by putting this in. A great film, though. I highly advise anyone who is interested in giant monster films, especially radioactive monsters, kind of correlates with Godzilla a bit. Watch this movie. It's fantastic. The special effects, in my opinion, still hold up today. Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. The Rhedosaurus. Great film, on the outside looking in. Rodan. Fantastic movie. Rodan never looked better. There's actually two Rodans. So, you know, both Rodans never looked better. He kind of looked like a drunk after this. These big googly eyes, and his beak looked a little weird. Never looked this good. Fantastic flying scenes. The destruction in this is epic. Great film. One of the best Japanese monsters of all time, in my opinion. Rodan's great. The destruction scenes in the cities is fantastic. On the outside looking in, Rodan. Destroy All Monsters. To me, it should have been ended here. I think that was the idea for Toho to end the Godzilla series here, so they had the creme de la creme, the tour de force of monsters, another alien invasion. On the outside looking in, I loved it as a kid. I'm not crazy about it now. Just not great, not bad. Worth a watch. Destroy All Monsters, on the outside looking in. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2 from the Heisei series. Excellent film. These movies were really good. There's several more of them that I didn't include on the list. This version of Mechagodzilla is fantastic. The G-Force trying to destroy Godzilla. Check it out if you could see it. I think it's available on a double Blu-ray. On the outside, looking in. Last but not least, Godzilla. Giant Monsters Attack. This is a classic of the Millennium series. Godzilla looks like a fanatic. These white eyes, he's massive. Evil as can be. Check it out, watch it. You'll really enjoy it. Baragon makes a comeback. Giant Monsters Attack. Watch it. On the outside looking in. Okay, so those are my contenders, but not worthy enough to break the top 10. Some of you may have an issue with what I'm about to show, but that's why I'm making the video. So anyway, number 10 in my list of top 10 giant monster movies, Godzilla versus Kong. Fantastic film. Saw it in the theaters. It's fantastic. It looks great on Blu-ray and 4K. Sonically amazing. Visually amazing. Godzilla looks great. He moves a bit faster in this film than he does in those other ones. You know, King of the Monsters was garbage. The first Godzilla from Legendary was very good. This is a fantastic film. Kong is fantastic in this. And so, hey, let's face it, so is Godzilla. Great destruction scenes. Fantastic film. in the top 10 at number 10, Godzilla versus Kong. Must see. There it is. Good stuff. Number 9 on my list of best giant monster films, King Kong Escapes. I love the Japanese Kong. Hysterical to look at. Robo Kong is fantastic. Doctor Who. Great stuff. Basically a retelling of the original from a Japanese point of view. Susan Watson, Fay Ray, Carl Denham is, the skipper's name. I don't remember what the skipper of the submarine is. Great film. Kong looks great. Mecha Kong looks great. Not a lot of destruction, but it doesn't need it because the story is that good. King Kong Escapes. Check it out. Number 9. Number 8. Godzilla versus Mothra. Fantastic film. This is after King Kong versus Godzilla. Godzilla never looked so sinister. Probably the most popular Godzilla look of all time is this movie. This is a great, great, great film. It could have been in the top 5, but I just couldn't. I couldn't justify taking out what is in the top 5 to put this in it. Great film. Watch it. It's fantastic. Godzilla versus Mothra. You can't lose. Next, one of the most enjoyable films to watch with giant monsters. Godzilla versus Astro Monster, starring the great Nick Adams. Planet X, Rodan, Ghidra, Godzilla, aliens, flying saucers. Komi Mizuno as a beautiful, sexy alien. You can't beat it. Such an enjoyable film to watch. Ghidra looks great. Godzilla looks good. Rodan looks like he's drunk. Great film. Not a dull moment. This is so good. It says a lot about a film when the monsters are barely in it, except for the last 10 minutes, and you still watch it. Great film. Toho classic right here. Godzilla versus Monster Zero or Astro Monster, depending on what you will. Now, this one of the greats of all time. Toho at its peak, in my opinion. War of the Gargantuas. You can't beat this film. The green guy's a freak. The brown guy, you feel bad for him. The destruction in this film is epic. Fantastic movie. If you ever see it on TV and you don't have it on DVD, DVR it. Great film. Svengoolie plays it sometimes. Great film. War of the Gargantuas. Toho at its all-time high. This is a must-watch if you like giant monster movies. Classic. Brown. Green. Russ Tamblyn. Komi Mizuno. You can't go wrong. Next, the Gamer Trilogy. Now, this is 3 movies, but it's Gamer. These 3 Gamer films are perhaps the best of the best. Guardian of the Universe, Gamera versus Legion, and Gamera versus Iris. These 3 films are absolutely fantastic. Gamera here, in this form, without a doubt, took over from Godzilla as far as quality pictures are concerned. The sets were smaller. The monsters were smaller. It was actually well written. Great special effects. The Gamer Trilogy. Find this Blu-ray if you can and buy it if you like giant monsters. Absolute masterpieces, all 3. Legion's my favorite. This is fantastic. You can't go wrong. The Gamer Trilogy. Now, we're down to 4. At number 4, perhaps my most watched film, except for number 1, King Kong versus Godzilla. King Kong gets top billing. Why? because he was the more popular monster. King Kong was huge in Japan, and Godzilla was ripe for a comeback after Godzilla Raids Again. I think it was, 6 years or 8 years later? King Kong versus Godzilla. All the money went to getting Kong from RKO. So there's very little destruction in this film. It's a battle fought on a mountain, Mount Fuji. Great film. I mean, this Godzilla just looks massive. It is my favorite Godzilla look of all time, the Kinjogi Godzilla. Massive thighs, his face, he looks more reptilian than ever. And the opening scene of him coming out of the iceberg and walking through the water with the tanks fired at him, he is massive. And of course, Kong. What can you say about the Japanese Kong that hasn't already been said? Absolutely hysterical. The big drunk American drinking the berry juice. King Kong versus Godzilla. Masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. At number 4. Number 3. This could have been number 1. I just couldn't do it to my number 1. Shin Godzilla. This is an absolute epic. Won the Japanese Academy Award for Best Picture. Godzilla looks so good in this. He goes through 3 stages, and the ending stage is just epic. I mean, the effects of this are fantastic. Tremendous cast. You could see how they were making fun of the Japanese government and how slow it reacts. Godzilla in this is just so good, and the effects are amazing. The performances are great. Shin Godzilla. If you didn't see this, please, I beg you, buy this film. It is so good. And thankfully, they're doing another Japanese film in November of 2023. So who knows what they're going to do with it. The way they left this off at the end, they left it open. This film is everything a Godzilla movie should be. Shin Godzilla. Absolute masterpiece. Number 2. What else can it be? Godzilla, King of the Monsters. In its American form, with Raymond Burr, it is a great film. Yeah, so what, the special effects look dated, but who cares? Godzilla just is massive in this. Ferocious, angry, and the roar at the top of the mountain when he first comes out, just fantastic. That's the way any Godzilla roar should sound, is this film right here. Godzilla, King of the Monsters with Raymond Burr. We all know that the Raymond Burr scenes were intercut with the original Japanese version, which is on this disc too, which is a very good watch. But I fancy the American version more than the Japanese version. Just so good. The start of everything. I mean, he's still making films to this day, so what does it say about Godzilla? Masterpiece of filmmaking. Started it all. Great film. Watch it. Enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously and say, hey, that looks fake. Pure entertainment. Now, the number 1 giant monster film of all time. It's not even close, folks. King Kong, the original Kong, 1933. Willis O'Brien, a young Ray Harryhausen who did work on this film. Fay Wray, Bruce Armstrong, and the 8th wonder of the world. This film started it all. A true classic. Even as old as it is, almost 90 years old. It might even be older than 90. Who cares? I don't want to do the math right now. Still, to this day, a great, great watch. I watch it every Thanksgiving. Come down to my room, put it on, and I just vegetate and watch this absolute masterpiece. special effects, action, the score, Fay Ray, King Kong, Empire State Building, Beauty That Killed the Beast. You cannot beat this film. This is, without a doubt, the greatest monster movie ever made, and one of the 10 best films probably ever made in the history of film. You can debate that all you want. You will not convince me that it does not belong in the top 10. It belongs in the top 10 of all time. King Kong, 1933, RKO Pictures. You can't go wrong. Skull Island. I mean, the battle with the T-Rex. So much going on here. The Brontosaurus in the water. Come on. You can't go wrong. Yeah, I mean, it's old. Yeah. And I don't get into the politics of the film. I don't care about the stuff. Entertain me, and this entertains. King Kong, the greatest monster movie of all time. Buy it. Get it. It needs to be on 4K. King Kong, the #1 giant monster movie of all time. Prove me wrong. I'll debate anyone on it. You'll lose. King Kong, the #1 giant monster film of all time. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this list. My next top 10 list will be top 10 war films. And that means any war, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, whatever it may be. And I'll have that to you in probably a week. We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. If you have a top 10, give it to me. If you have a top 20, give it to me. If I left anything out, please let me know. I didn't put any like giant bug movies in this because that's going to be a whole different topic. That'll be under sci-fi, stuff like Them and whatever, the giant mantis, whatever it is. Let me know what you think. Fun doing it. And it only took 23 minutes. Thought it would take longer. Enjoy. And I will see you soon.